A reading from the Gospel of Matthew. Come to me, all you that are weary and are carrying heavy burdens, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and humble in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light. These are words that Jesus shared with his followers during the course of his ministry. And I think that these words have a lot of meaning for us today as well as those early followers. He speaks of a yoke, and I suspect that many of you know what a yoke is, but for those of you who don't, a yoke is a sort of tool that binds animals together, working animals, oftentimes used with oxen as they are working a job together. And so it binds them close together, thus giving them more strength to do the work that they have to do. And here, Jesus invites us to take on his yoke, to be yoked together with him. I can't think of any language that could be more explicit or more beautiful than this language that Jesus has chosen to use in discussing his relationship, the ideal relationship between him and his followers. That we should take his yoke upon us. Thus, he would be imparting to us his strength, his will, his ability to do the Father's will. And he says it is light. Oftentimes, when people think about religion, they think about burdens. Because if you study different religions, you'll know that there are oftentimes a lot of do's and don'ts and rules that you may need to follow. And Jesus was aware of that even in his day, which I think is particularly meaningful, makes it particularly meaningful when he says, take on my yoke, for my burden is light. So he invites us to come along beside him, to work together with him. And isn't that the goal that every single person who is considered to be a follower of Christ should be aiming for? To walk alongside Christ, yoked together with Christ, to do the work that Christ would have us do here on this earth in this day and age. So for some, being yoked might sound something like being enslaved, but it is actually absolutely not that at all. It is the opposite of that. It is sharing a burden with someone, becoming stronger because of the strength of that relationship. And certainly that's what Jesus brings to our lives, the strength of relationship. And we should welcome that yoke and that burden with open hearts. Amen.